Coming at you live with a new haircut.
I'm a Gen Z girl now.
I tried to get rid of the shadows the best I could, but I can't control the sun. I'm not a light tech, believe it or not. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name's Elizabeth, or Lizard. I thought I would do a quick June wrap-up / July TBR. I'm gonna start with the wrap-up, obviously. It's like already July 6th or something.
A little late for a wrap-up, but we're doing it.
Because I can. So I've got some physical books in front of me, and some of them I borrowed or gave away after I read, as I tend to do. I read, let's see, 10, 11. That cannot be right. Wow, I'm so educated. I went to the beach this month. Also, it's summer, so I just always read more in the summer. This is a good month to do a little wrap up. I've already talked about Harry Styles' books, which are You Get So Alone at Times That It Just Makes Sense by Charles Bukowski, and then Haruki Murakami's Norwegian Wood. Overall, kind of hated this a little bit. Next, I read Uncarley's favorite books because I am just a simp. Like, I found Uncarley's channel earlier this year. I think I'm a little bit obsessed with her. So we've got I'm Not Myself These Days by Josh Kilmer Purcell, Exciting Times by Nisha Dolan, Augustin Burrow, Lust and Wonder, Less by Andrew Sean Greer, and Sally Rooney, Conversations with Friends. Overall, I liked these books. Ooh, you can watch the video if you want to see me go more into depth. The other book that I read in June was my April book of the month pick that you can't see because I don't like book sleeves and I tend to take them off and lose them. And then I spilled coffee all over it, so that was fun. But this is What Comes After by Joanne Malkin. This book was kind of a letdown for me. It's about these two teenage boys and one of them goes missing. And then a week later, his best friend is found dead. He's killed himself, and he's left a suicide note that says that he murdered his other friend and like gives instructions about where to find the body. That's it. Nobody really knows anything else. Starts after the death, and it follows the dad of one of the sons and him kind of grappling with his son's death. And then there's this girl, Evangeline, who was like this 16-year-old homeless girl who had a relationship with the boys. Daniel and Jonah are the two boys. The concept was really good. It switches perspectives. I typically don't love books that change perspectives, and this book, not only did it change perspectives, but it changed perspectives like every single chapter, and it didn't tell you who the narrator was going to be. So at first it was really confusing, kind of frustrating, but I guess it was kind of a cool tool in this case because that's sort of representative of how the characters were feeling. I don't know, I really liked this book, but I think it was just too long. And the character of Evangeline was like not super likable, but she did have some good like character development. I don't know, it was supposed to be really sad, but like the most that I cried, spoiler by the way, the dog dies. Yeah, I like don't know how I feel about this book because I kind of liked it, and there were times when I was sort of bored, but like I liked it enough to keep reading it, and I don't think I would ever reread it. So those are my thoughts about that. And then next we've got The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, which I read because I was at the beach. TikTok recommended it. So the concept of this book is that the best man and the maid of honor, they for some reason hate each other. Everyone at the wedding gets food poisoning except for nemesis, Olive and Ethan, but they decide to go on the honeymoon because it's like already paid for.
There's only one bed.
But it's like, it's a honeymoon. What did you expect? Surprise, surprise, they fall in love. So it's very much enemies to lovers. It was very hyped up on TikTok, beach read vibes. It was like pretty average. It kind of felt like watching an episode of The Bachelor in that it was very predictable and unnecessarily dramatic. I don't know if you could really say that I read it as much as I skimmed it. I like a romance, but I do like there to be something else going on. Like, I can't just read a book for the romance. I like the romance to be sort of a B plot. So the next book I don't have because I gave to my friend because it was really good, and it's Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm trying to read all of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books because I love her and I love her writing style. I would read her grocery lists at this point. In this book, Hannah is lost and doesn't really know what she's doing with her life. She's moved around from city to city all throughout her 20s, never really planting roots. And at 29, she's in New York. She's just kind of tired and decides to move back to Los Angeles, where she grew up. Also, where her high school boyfriend happens to be. She never fully got over their breakup, but now they're both single for the first time in like 10 years. Also got her best friend Gabby. The first night she gets back, they go to this bar with like all of her friends, and it's sort of almost like a choose your own adventure kind of. So like from the bar night, it splits and goes into two different scenarios. In the first life, she goes home with Ethan, and then in the next life, it's like what happens if she goes home with Gabby, her friend. From there, every other chapter alternates. It's sort of just like how decisions impact us. One seemingly insignificant decision can impact your whole life, but also everything happens the way it's supposed to be. When she goes home with Ethan, they start up this wonderful relationship. When she goes home with Gabby, she gets hit by a car. It's just so good. Whatever will be, will be. Que sera, sera. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It would have been 5 stars, but liking cinnamon rolls was one of the main character's personality traits, and it was just annoying. We get it. You like cinnamon rolls. The last book that I read in June, People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, which everyone has been reading. She's the same author of Beach Read, which I liked it, but then once I put it down, I put it down. I didn't really think about it after. People We Meet on Vacation. I give this book 5 stars. It was just like so freaking cute. And I know earlier I said that romance isn't enough for me to like read a book. It is. I will read a romance, but usually I'm bored. This book, it was just a romance. Like that's kind of all that it was, and it was so freaking good. And the boy character, the writing was really well done. This book was sort of an homage to Nora Ephron's When Harry Met Sally, which is one of my favorite movies. Poppy and Alex are best friends. They're total opposites, but they strike up this friendship, and every year they go on vacation together. So when the book starts, Poppy is in a funk, and she is just sort of feeling lost. She's not loving her job. She doesn't really know why, and she sort of does like a self-reflection, and she realizes that the last time she really felt happy was when she was on vacation with Alex. They haven't talked to each other in like 2 years because the last time they went on vacation, something happened that made their friendship kind of like fizzle out a little bit. So she just decides that she wants to go on vacation again. So she texts Alex and invites him to come, and he says, sure, okay. They go on this vacation, and it's like kind of awkward. Book splits. The first storyline is their present day vacation. It'll jump back to their previous vacations and sort of how they started this whole tradition and the trips that they've been on all around the world. So when it jumps back and forth, it slowly like leads up to the event that happened that like made them fall out. They just have such a fun dynamic, and they have great jokes together. They have great chemistry. They're best friends. It's super cute and sweet. It's not just a cheesy romance. It's also well written, and it also talks about why she loves traveling and how she gets to meet new people and see new things. I love traveling, and I love the book. 5 stars. It was so good. Would recommend. Now I'm gonna get into the July TBR. I don't know how I feel about TBRs because I'm very much a mood reader. I kind of have ideas of books that I want to read, but I don't really like schedule it that much because what if I decide to read something else? But I am going on vacation again in July. I will have to read the books that I bring. But let's just jump into it. We've got 2 Taylor Jenkins Reid books. I just want to read all of her books because I love her. One of them is Malibu Rising, which was my book of the month pick. Not sponsored unless you want it to be. I don't even really know what it's about. I literally just saw that Taylor Jenkins Reid was one of the options, and I chose it because I love her. That's that. And we've got After I Do, which is just about a couple who they're married and then they decide to take a break. I don't really know. I read a lot of romance in the month of June, and those are 2 romance-ish books. If I read too many romance books, I will go a little bit crazy and then maybe get a little bit cynical because I'm like, ugh, it's not real life. Too much. So I've also got some thrillers lined up. So we've got I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. This is a TikTok rec, and I'm really excited because I don't even know what it's about, but I just love to be scared. It just says, you will be scared, but you won't know why. And honestly, that's all I need to know. I don't really want to know that much going into books. I like to go in blind and kind of be surprised. Next, we've got Agatha Christie, The Murder of Roger Roger Ackroyd. I haven't really read much Agatha Christie, but she is the queen of the mystery genre, the queen of horror. She's the most widely published author, only outsold by the Bible and Shakespeare. It's time for me to hop on the Agatha Christie bandwagon. I've read And Then There Were None in like 7th grade for school and I loved it. I went on little Google and I said,
Best Agatha Christie.
and this came up. Next up is The Silent Patient. Alicia Brinson's life is seemingly perfect until one night when her husband Gabriel returns home late from work and Alicia shoots him 5 times in the face and then never speaks another word. I mean, I'm sold. That's 4 books. That might be all that I read. That's kind of a lot, but just in case I want something else, we've got the final revival of Opal and Nub, which was a book of the month choice. Again, not sponsored unless you want to be. They said if you liked Daisy Jones and the Six, you will like this book. I did like Daisy Jones and the Six. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is sort of a music historical fiction set in the 70s. I'm sold and I'm really excited to read it. Last and maybe least, we've got A Little Life. This book, I bought this book so long ago because so many people have said that it's their favorite. I don't know what it's about. I've purposefully avoided spoilers. I'm scared of being depressed. Super conflicted feelings. You know, let me know if this book is worth it, if it's worth the trauma.
Don't spoil it!
Because I don't want to be spoiled, but just, is it worth it? I'm scared. Okay, I think that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you want. Give the video a like if you want. Comment down below. Let me know what you're planning on reading in July or what your favorite book that you read in June was. See you later. Goodbye.